Good evening. My name is Gino Frattallone, and I have here a young lady. Her name is Barbara Italian. So in the event that you're asking, what kind of name is that? That's a beautiful name. It's a mix between Italian and French, like myself. So now you know the story. The reason I have this young lady here is because she's running for U.S. Congress. And I'm going to ask her to tell me a little story about it.
Sure.
So tell me, Barbara, a little story, how it came about that you felt running for a very sort of a step up, okay, in politics, as a Congress lady.
Yeah.
Tell me.
So I'm currently a state senator.
Correct.
I represent Andover, Dracut, Tewksbury, and Lawrence. I've been a senator for 4 years, served in the House for 8 years prior to that, serving a couple of the other communities in this district, Haverhill and Methuen, as well as my hometown of Andover. I decided to run for Congress because, first of all, Nikki Songas has done a wonderful job on our behalf. She decided to retire about a year ago. And I decided that the job is just too big and too important not to have someone that has the relevant experience of being a legislator. So I decided to run for Congress to be able to represent the 37 cities and towns that are located in the district, and try to go down and bring an experienced hand to Washington on everyone's behalf.
That's beautiful. Would you be willing to work with the other side?
So I've needed to do that all along over the 15 years that I've been a legislator. My House district was primarily a swing district, which means, quite frankly, it was intended for a Republican to have that seat. I shared my district with both a Republican House member, Brad Hill, and a Senator, Bruce Tarr. And the communities that we represented, where we overlapped, we worked on issues that those communities needed us to help them with. So whether that be bringing money back to them to help fix their roads and bridges, or we had a situation where the well water had been fouled by salt. So anyways, I've already needed to work in a bipartisan fashion. You know, when that happens, you work on issues that, you know, the district needs. And many of the things I've worked on, including Alzheimer's. We had an Alzheimer's bill signed into law by the governor. We did that today at the Alzheimer's Association.
That's beautiful.
And I have a son with autism, and did a lot of work on autism. You know, helping people who are elderly, disabled, veterans, poor people. To me, that's not partisan. That's just doing what I did as a social worker in the greater Lowell area before I entered politics. It's really helping people.
It is correct, it's helping people.
Yeah.
And do you know how big the district of you that you're going to be able to represent?
It's 37 cities and towns. If you think about it, to the north along 495, it starts up in Haverhill, goes down as far south as Marlboro. And if you think of Route 2, really it starts as far east as Concord, and Sudbury, and Acton, and goes all the way out to Gardner and Fitchburg. So it's a big area, and a lot of it abuts the New Hampshire border as well. And so, you know, I look at it, the district is falling into 3 basic categories. There are a number of what we call gateway cities, and those are the old, if you think of the old mill cities that were producing shoes and cloth and, you know, whatever other items they were producing. The Fitchburgs and Marlboros and Lawrences and Haverhills and Lowells of the world. And I currently represent, you know, a gateway city in the city of Lawrence. And then there are suburban communities like here in Acton or in Concord, and very similar to my hometown of Andover. And then there are some rural communities as well. And I currently represent a rural community in Dracut, but there are sure rural communities as you get outside of Fitchburg and Gardner, and you know, as you go down, you know, into the Maynard area and into Bolton and into Stowe. So, so I think of it as basically falling into 3 general categories in terms of the type of communities that need to be represented, and I have experience representing those types of communities already.
Have you had the opportunity to speak, I'm sure many people in those different districts, the district that you represent?
So we're doing, aside from the meet and greets and the forums and the debates, we've done something rather interesting. We've done 2 things, I will say. We've done one thing called Beers with Barbara, and we've gone around to craft brewing locations all over the district. And we've also gone around and done what we've called kitchen table conversations. So we've taken my solid oak kitchen table that I bought in 1985 when I was engaged to be married, and have brought that and put it on town, commons, and invited people to come and have lemonade and cookies and talk about what are their kitchen table concerns, what are they really concerned, what are they concerned with. And to me, it's symbolic of what do you do at your kitchen table? Well, you break bread and talk with your family. Kids do their homework at their kitchen table. People pay their bills at their kitchen table. I remember my dad, because I'm one of 8 kids, struggling to figure out what bills he was going to be able to pay. Certainly for my family, we sat at our kitchen table and planned out how we were going to help manage the healthcare and education system for my son with autism. And later on in life, we did the same for my mom with Alzheimer's, who'd lived with my family for the last, 20 years of her life. So we see it as symbolic of what kitchen table concerns do people have, what do they want me to be paying attention to. And so, we've gone around and engaged with people in that way, and it's been really interesting.
I'm sure on your travel you met a lot of people that eager to maybe to help you and give you some assistance. Would you tell us how can they reach you?
Sure.
Would you tell them?
Yeah, so people can reach me. I have a website, which is www.teambarbara.com. We have a main number for our campaign, which is 978-409-1818. And we have had the great fortune of having supporters all over the district. We do have an office in Andover and an office in Acton, on Main Street in Acton. We have doubled up with Senator Jamie Eldridge here, in the Acton area. And people have been helping with making phone calls, knocking on doors for us, writing postcards, putting signs on their lawns. So I've been really gratified to receive help from a number of people.
Happy to see quite a few of those. The question is, we'd just like to wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure you will be a good Congress lady if, by the way that you spoke, you're trying to help others. That's a very interesting.
I think that's the key, right? Is if you're focused on people and what their needs are and trying to make it easier for them. So, for example, the Alzheimer's bill we just passed is going to make life a whole lot easier for families and people struggling with Alzheimer's. And when we can make it easier and when we can be smarter about how we're delivering health care for folks with Alzheimer's, potentially we also can achieve some efficiencies and some cost savings. But that work and my work with autism, again, trying to help families who are struggling like mine to pay for the cost of my son's care when medical insurance didn't cover what he needed. So I've always looked at this as a job to try to help people, try to support them.
Yeah. Did you mention to the audience how many people are running for the Congress,
oh my goodness,
for your seat?
10 people running in the Democratic primary, which is on September 4th, day after Labor Day. Yeah, it's a very large field. It's a democracy and everyone has the right to run.
That's true.
It's a very large field. The big difference between me and the other 9 candidates is that I'm the only one that's been doing this work for 15 years, serving in the House, serving in the Senate, serving on the school committee for a period of time, and I do a lot of dyslexia work as well. Because if folks can't read, if they're struggling reading, we are not doing them any favors by, forwarding them through school and then graduating and not being able to function properly in a 21st century economy.
What the people can do to help you? I mean, I know you might need help in some different areas.
Yeah.
Just let them know where they can help you, how they can help you.
Okay.
Let them know.
So we have about 2.5 weeks left. I think certainly the biggest help would be to vote for me, so I humbly ask for people's vote on September 4th. If people want to get more involved, they can go through the website, teambarbara.com, and we also have a Facebook page as well, and Twitter. But if people want to help us in the final couple of weeks and or on Election Day, contact us, and we will be happy to get you involved in whichever way that you are comfortable.
You need a financial assistance too, because I know running in politics is very expensive.
It's extraordinarily expensive, particularly in this race. One gentleman's raised $3 million, and I think that's obscene, personally. We are going to be successful on a third of that amount of money. But certainly if people want to make a contribution, that's certainly helpful as well. But at this point in time, I would say, you know, people's volunteer time, their vote, I mean,
Yeah,
those are
vote.
really the things that would be incredibly helpful.
Vote is very important.
Yes, exactly.
So you have listened, you have seen, you have heard the young lady, how interested she is to help others. So you have to give the opportunity by getting the young lady in Congress and needs your help. They mean your vote. See if you can help her whatever way you can. And this is Gino, and this is end of the conversation. We like to thank you so much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.